How to play Henkirou. Components. Upon opening the Henkirou box, we find the following components: 48 fighter cards, 8 item cards, 1 4-sided die, 2 documents of rules and instructions, and 1 quick reference card. Objective. When playing Henkirou, the objective is to accumulate as many cards as possible into a stack, snatching them away from other players through battles. Setting up the game. Before starting the battles, set up the cards as follows. Shuffle the items and place them face down in a pile within reach of all players. Now, shuffle the cards and deal 12 to each player. Next, each player takes these cards as his hand and also draws 2 items from the items pile. Now everything is ready to start the first battle of the game. Placing cards for the battle. The youngest player begins the first battle as the first attacker. The attacker picks 1 card from his hand, the warrior, and puts it face up on the table. The attacker also picks another card from his hand, the reinforcement, and puts it face down on the table. Next, the attacker chooses another player to be the defender. The rest of the players will be observers of the battle. The defender picks a card from his hand, the defense, and puts it face up on the table. Battle properties. All the cards have at least one of the following battle properties. Body, brute force of the fighter valued with a number. Soul, spiritual power of the fighter valued with a number. And element, elemental nature of the fighter, represented by an elemental symbol. Rock of sand, paper of fire, or scissors of water. Choosing the battle property. To begin, the defender must choose the nature of the battle: body, soul, or element. Keeping in mind that the chosen battle property must also appear on the warrior card of the attacker. In this case, we see the attacker has no body on his warrior card, so the defender cannot choose body for this battle. But let's suppose that the attacker had actually chosen a warrior card with body. If the defender chose to battle with body, both players' body values would be compared, and the player who ended up having the higher body value would win. If, on the other hand, the defender chose to battle with soul, both players' soul values would be compared, and the player who ended up having the higher soul value would win. However, in this sample battle, the defender does not choose body or soul, but the battle property he thinks more advantageous: element. When battling with element, both players' elements are compared according to the classic mechanic rock, paper, scissors. Scissors of water defeats paper of fire, rock of sand defeats scissors of water, and paper of fire defeats rock of sand. The defender has scissors of water as the element on his defense card. The attacker has paper of fire as the element on his warrior card. For now, the defender would win the battle, using the reinforcement. However, the attacker has the possibility to boost his battle properties at any time by putting his reinforcement into play. The attacker therefore decides to use his reinforcement, which has rock of sand as the element, flipping it over and putting it into play. The attacker then wins the battle thanks to his reinforcement's element. He gathers up the cards involved in the battle and keeps them in a stack by his side. But let's go back and suppose the attacker had actually chosen a reinforcement card with the same element as his warrior, paper of fire. Having the same element for the warrior and the reinforcement has an advantage we will see later on for battles with body or soul, but leaves the attacker totally helpless if the defender decides to battle with element, as is the case in this sample battle. So since this is a battle with element, the attacker has no chance to win, neither with his warrior nor with his reinforcement. Items. The items are objects that help the player. Each player can use one of his items during a battle, so not everything is lost for the attacker. He decides to turn to his items and use the Austral Bellows, which allows him to change the battle property from element to body or soul. In this case, to body. The defender is forced to accept the battle property change imposed by the attacker's item. Having changed the battle property from element to body, the attacker decides to flip over his reinforcement, putting it into play and combining the body values from his warrior and his reinforcement for the battle against the defender. Elemental bonus. Furthermore, the fact that the element of the warrior is the same as the element of the reinforcement gives the attacker a bonus of +1 for his body and soul values. Anytime the elements of the warrior and the reinforcement match, the attacker obtains an increase of +1 in his body and soul values. So the attacker adds up the body values of the warrior, the reinforcement, and the elemental bonus, and ends up having a current body value of 6. Specials. The specials are specific rules inscribed on each card and addressed to the card's owner that must always be applied at the time and under the conditions specified. For instance, if we note the text on the defense's special, we see that the defender has the power to increase his body value by +3. If his adversary, the attacker, has Paper of Fire on any of his cards in play, as happens to be the case. Therefore, the current body value of the defender becomes 5. In addition, the defender also decides to use one of his items, Ruffian's Knife, which increases his body value by +2, so the defender has a current body value of 7, thanks to his defense's special and to his item, Ruffian's Knife. Since there is no other special to apply right now, both players are ready and agree to start the duel. Keeping in mind that in general, items can't be used nor reinforcements put into play during the duel. The duel. The duel is the key moment of the battle in which the final body and soul values are definitively determined by a pair of dice rolls per player. Both players must roll the die 2 times each, resulting in the skill and miss rolls, which add and subtract values respectively. First, the attacker performs the skill roll, since he has priority of action, and adds the result of the roll to his current body value. 6 plus 4 equals 10. Next, the attacker performs the miss roll, and subtracts the result of this roll from his current body value, resulting in his final body value. 10 minus 2 equals 8. Next, the defender performs his skill roll, adding the result of the roll to his current body value. 7 plus 1 equals 8. And finally, the defender performs the miss roll, subtracting the result of the roll from his current body value, and resulting in his final body value. 8 minus 3 equals 5. The attacker obtains a final body value of 8, and the defender a final body value of 5. Now it's just a question of giving the victory to the player with the highest final body value. In this case, the attacker. But before finishing the battle, let's see if there are any pending specials to apply. Examining the reinforcement, we observe a special that allows the attacker, if he wins, to take a card from his adversary's hand, the defender, and put it in his own hand. The attacker applies his reinforcement special because he has won. Then he discards the used items in a discard pile within reach of all players, gathers up the cards involved in the battle, and begins his stack with the cards he has won. Now the player sitting to the left of the previous attacker becomes the new attacker and begins the next battle. The new attacker chooses a new defender. The attacker and the defender place their cards for battle on the table, and the game continues.